Oh, up here? One of these? Oh,
Yeah, I'll fix it for you.
okay.
Dave Hyde had muted me.
I muted you. And I didn't even know it.
For a month, Dave's been like, why am I not getting your...
It was a quieter world.
Oh, I've quieted down on Twitter. I'm nearly Twitter retired. Twitter's so annoying. It's such an annoying place. Everybody has to chime in on everything and have
and you
insight.
feel like, oh, I got to chime in too, and you realize you're just in this room with all these people who you're like, why am I in here?
A room full of strangers. All right.
I'm all set. Let me know.
Give me a countdown and we're ready to rock.
All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, surprise, we're back. Welcome to the Super Bowl edition of X's and Omar. You can't have the big game in your town and not see us.
We're here.
We're here. The biggest game in college, the biggest game in sports.
You spent too much time at the Senior Bowl
I
talking to
did,
college
I
people
did,
and all that.
I did. But is the Super Bowl the biggest sporting event in the world?
No, because there's the World Cup that would blow this one out of the water. But
that's many
in
many
our
events.
world, in
That's
America.
That's a many events, though. So yeah, I guess so.
There's a World Cup final. So,
all right. So we'll take the second biggest sporting event. It's hosted by South Florida, and welcome to those who are coming to town. There are certain things that involve coming to town, which means prices go up, and hopefully traffic won't be as horrible as it seems, but you've been warned. We are also going to discuss on X's and Omar, hosted by Omar Kelly and Dave Hyde, my recent trip to the Senior Bowl, where I got a chance to look at some of the top prospects and also talk to the coach and the GM, primarily about the coaching change and the snowball effect that comes with that. Let's start off this discussion, Dave, with talking about why Chan Gailey replaced Chad O'Shea as the offensive coordinator and why Josh Boyer replaced Patrick Graham as the defensive coordinator. Any concerns for you, Dave, about the massive changes that have happened to Brian Flores?
there's a lot of concerns because, look, the way to win in the NFL, and I've said this before, you get a head coach who hires a good staff, gets coordinators and a system in place. You find players for that system and a quarterback.
Yeah.
And you develop that over the point of years. Now, both coordinators are gone, so a lot of the momentum, for lack of a better word, going into year two is gone. And so you're going to bring it in. Now, the defense, I assume, is going to run similar systems. The offense is going to change things up. The whole offensive staff is changing up, too. So there goes some of the momentum that you would hope they'd take out of the end of the season.
I've always said this about coaches, and this is primarily the biggest issue that rookie coaches have. They struggle to put together a quality staff. The last quality staff that I'd seen with the Miami Dolphins was when Tony Sparano took over. And that staff was built by Bill Parcells. Now, when Bill Parcells left and Dan Henning got pushed out and Mike Nolan took over, yeah, that staff started to take on water. But rookies or first-year head coaches struggle to hire good staffs. And I think Brian Flores looked at his staff, especially a staff that did not include Jim Caldwell, and said, I can't build with that. I don't have anybody to develop my quarterbacks. I don't feel comfortable where I am from an offensive line standpoint. And this wholesale needed to change. And that's on the offensive side. He hired a coach, Chan Gailey, who he felt more comfortable in terms of building an offense. What he said to us was when he coached against Chan Gailey had a beater for whatever he threw at him. If he threw him single high safeties, he had a beater for that. If he threw him a diamond package in the front, he had a beater for that. He made great adjustments. And that's where Brian Flores felt like his staff lacked in terms of the adjustments. Also, he felt it lacked on quarterback development. We talked on X's and Omars all season about how Ryan Fitzpatrick held up that team like a kickstand. And Ryan Fitzpatrick played a two-man game, same thing he did with Brandon Marshall and Mike Evans, he did with Devontae Parker, where he changed plays at his hip. And when you, as the coach, know that it's your quarterback that's driving the offense, a smart approach, not to say that you're investing in Ryan Fitzpatrick, is to invest in the coach that actually got the most out of him and a coach that you know can build an offense. And that's why the change was made. I really do believe it was centered around quarterback.
So they are investing in Ryan Fitzpatrick. You say they aren't, but they are. They clearly are. And they can say, I was told, don't read too much into Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, I was told the same thing.
Wait a second here.
Yeah. This is the word used, loved what Ryan Fitzpatrick did for that team last season. Leadership, pocket,
How could they not? But there's a difference between loving and investing. And we've seen first-year problems with the Dolphins before. Tony Sperano loved Chad Pennington for all the same reasons and loved the Wildcat. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
Then you had Adam Gase, and he loved all his nucleus of veterans, and they gave them big contracts. And that did, and so the question and look, I love Fitzpatrick. Everybody did what he did last year. Is it sustainable?
It's not, and he knows it's not. But here's what I think they have a vision for Ryan Fitzpatrick. They want him to be a bridge quarterback.
He is that.
That helps grow.
But where's the other side? That's what we all agree. Get to the other. Where's the other side? I'm looking. Where's
I
that
understand
side?
where you're coming from. It's understood that they will draft a quarterback or either go out and do something in free agency, and I don't believe they'll do anything in free agency. They will go get a young quarterback, whether it's Tua at 5, whether it's Justin Herbert at some point in that draft. He's probably going to be a top 10 selection, or whether it's Jordan Love. I think that there are 3 quarterbacks that I've seen 2 of them up close. I'm obsessed with one, and I've seen 2 of them up close and personal, and I think they can all be worked with and developed. However, I want them all slow cooked. I want them all, don't stick them in the microwave and push 40 and cook it and try to think it's going to be a good meal. Let them watch and learn like Patrick Mahomes did.
Not just Patrick Mahomes. Look at the last 4 quarterbacks here. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Ryan Tannehill. And really, Tannehill should have been slow cooked. And they want him to with David Girard. It didn't work. So I'm with you. That sit them down for a year. And that's, whoever they get, that's a perfect situation. I agree. As far as the coaches, Brian Flores knows a lot more what went on behind closed doors. We never saw any of this, like if you don't like a player, you like a player, you see him play in a game. We don't know what was going on. And Flores felt the need for big changes here.
And let's address quickly the Patrick Graham switch with Josh Boyer. Josh Boyer has been Brian Flores' understudy. They've coached in the same room for over a decade.
I thought Patrick Graham was that guy. They coached in the same room in New England.
No.
That was a surprise. That was a surprise
here's how
to me.
the Patrick Graham situation was painted. I don't even want to. If your girl wants to date another guy,
but why did he want to date another guy?
He's from that area. He's coached up there with the Giants. I agree.
I agree with
Omar. Honestly, I didn't think Patrick Graham did a very good job. I thought he did a worse job than Chad O'Shea. So him not being here, I'm okay with it. I really am. I thought he was the worst defensive coordinator that I've ever covered here with the Dolphins in 12 seasons.
I tell you, the last half of the year, they did pretty well.
They did okay.
The defense did pretty well over the last half of the season.
The offense did pretty well.
Considering they had minimal talent.
The offense did well. Tell me what the defense could do. Could they rush the quarterback? No.
They won games. I don't know how they did it. They won games.
It's called Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's how
I'm not disagreeing with you. Okay, where will the veteran leadership come from next season, Omar?
Well, that question comes from O.J. Highway, who basically it's an issue right now in terms of Ryan Fitzpatrick is, we think, going to be here. He still hasn't said, hey, I'm going to play. He's going to on the books to make $8 million. I believe half of it is guaranteed. I don't think he'll shake down the Dolphins trying to get more money. That doesn't really make sense for a guy who's his age. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, Daniel Kilgore, who's also another guy who's on the hot seat, literally. They were at the Senior Bowl shopping for.
As they should. If you looked at some of the plays and the line. Look, they need 4 new linemen, right?
Yes.
I mean, probably, maybe 3.
Maybe 3.
They need 4 or 5 just for depth reasons, beyond starters.
Yeah.
So
I don't have a problem with the way Daniel Kilgore played, because if you think about it, he had to hold the hand of 2. It was an ever-changing rotation
that
of
can go
guards.
the other way too. The guards had problems because the center wasn't that good,
Whoa.
right? I mean, let's not.
Whoa.
The question is, the
Whoa.
question, who was good on that
Whoa.
offensive line? Jesse Davis.
Yes.
Okay, we agree with that, and he
Yes.
has a role now. We could, depending on what
Right
they
guard
do,
or right tackle,
where he
yeah.
goes, we don't know.
Yes.
And I'm not giving up on Michael Dieter after 1 year, but everybody else there's a question of where, and that's not even getting to the depth that you need to be a good team.
Also,
So-
Bobby McCain is viewed as a leader. He will be back, whether it be as free safety or a nickel cornerback. I would prefer it be a nickel cornerback, but yes, they need to have a
I
leadership
tell you
voice.
what, enough of the leadership talk. We talk about this all the time in the media. Who's the leader? I tell you what, I'll tell you who's going to be the leader, whoever's good. Okay? Who's good? Name above average on these teams.
Xavier Howard, Rashad Jones.
There you go. Then they're leaders. But
Hey, I don't know about Rashad.
They got to get on the field.
Yeah. Carroll City 86 asks, what does the move to Chan Gailey mean more in terms of the running game? What does personnel on O-line suggest, power or zone scheme? I don't know, because Chan Gailey's been out of the game for a couple of years
3
now.
years.
Hey, are you an ageist, Dave?
No, at all. I love old guys coaching.
Okay.
And every staff needs old guys coaching. All right. Now, but 3 years out of the league is 3 years out of the league. And so what does he bring in? What did he learn in those 3 years off? How's the game changed from when he was coaching? Now he ran spread offenses. He's run power games with the Dolphins back with Lamar Smith. So he's done it all over. And what is he going to do here? We don't know. I don't know.
I think they're going to run a power run scheme. I think that they're going to bring in spread concepts, because Chan Gailey was an innovator. He was one of the first head coaches in the NFL to inject the spread offense into the NFL game, and should get credit for that. Led the Dolphins to
but he was never considered, he was considered a good coach, a nice assistant, but never considered like this, the whiz kid.
Okay.
That
you need a whiz kid.
No, not at
whiz
all.
Whiz kids are always young.
But I'm trying to say he's never been considered this huge innovator in the league. Okay, very solid coach, a guy that players like to play for, because when he was with the Dolphins, the offense liked to play in that scheme and for him. So I'm curious to see where he goes with this offense.
I think it can't get any worse than they were last year running the football. It doesn't get any worse.
Well, they were the worst in franchise history, right?
It starts with getting a back and probably getting the offensive line, and I think that should be the top priority this offseason, or even ahead of getting a quarterback.
Do you think that's what got Chad O'Shea fired?
No, because I think he had nothing to work with. But I know it's quarterback development. Chad O'Shea was not helping the quarterbacks, and that was made very clear to me. And the problem is, it's an issue. Quarterback development. No Caldwell, who's coaching these quarterbacks.
So they bring in the guy who worked with Chan Gailey with the Jets.
Yeah.
Was at West Virginia for a year, and out goes Jerry Shaplinski too to the Giants. So we don't know. But you could do that about all the guys they're bringing in.
Yeah.
We don't know. We'll see.
Listen, I don't know if this is an improvement on the staff.
We
but
don't know.
I know I didn't like the staff last year, and that was no secret. So, you could say whatever you want about the talent that they were working with. I didn't feel like they were a good coach team. Well-coached team.
Okay, Luke Fader asks, if the Dolphins miss out on drafting Joe Burrows or Tua Tagovailoa, was the 2019 season a complete failure?
I don't know if we could sit here and say failure, but I think that, because, according to them, they were not tanking.
Could we say disappointment?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a disappointment.
Could we say frustration?
We've been
Could we
frustrated for a decade.
say extension of quarterback issues going back 20 years?
What changes? Really, what will change? Nothing will change. We'll be doing the same old Dolphin two-step. And, yeah, I'll be disappointed. But here's the thing. You put yourself in this situation by winning a Cincinnati game where you could have just laid down in overtime And
You could have started Josh Rosen the last 2 games.
no, not even that.
Sure, absolutely,
Not
absolutely.
even that. No, you can't. No, but
That was discussed inside the franchise too.
whatever. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not sure Josh Rosen has a future with the team, and putting him out on the field means we are tanking.
He doesn't have a future with the team. If he couldn't play last year,
He wasn't ready. He wasn't better than Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I'm not arguing that. But if he can't beat out Ryan Fitzpatrick,
Ryan Fitzpatrick's no slouch. You saw the man, MVP of the team. That team in rushing. look how much he held this team up.
do you
5
want
wins.
do you want to invest in Ryan Fitzpatrick?
No, but I love
Okay,
Ryan
that's-
Fitzpatrick.
same
I love
here,
him. I
same
love
here.
him.
I'm with you. But do you want to
He's
invest in him?
37, Dave. What am I going to do with that?
38, Omar. By the time we roll around, I believe.
Yeah. But I don't think it's going to be as easy to get to it as people think it is.
Here's the thing. Every quarterback draft, everybody talks about the guys at the front of the line, like they're the be-all, end-all. And who wins? Who are the great
Yeah, you're
quarterbacks?
right.
The guys at the end of the line.
Yeah,
The
you're right.
Lamar Jacksons, the Jimmy Garoppolos,
The Gardner Minshew's.
Russell Wilsons, the Tom Brady, the guys nobody's talking about on draft day. So
yeah. I mean,
not always, but enough of them.
the
that,
Dak Prescotts. I hear you, and it'll be interesting to see where they are from a development standpoint. But Joe Burrow had the best college season any quarterback in the history of the game has ever had. You gotta want that, even though he was projected as a 5th-round pick entering that season. And then Tua, we even know with the medical, like that dude has it. It oozes out of him.
I'm worried about what else might ooze out
Yeah.
of them. That's the problem.
Yeah,
right
so
there.
it's a long time, but we'll see where this goes.
All right, Omar. So this week, the Sun Sentinel, we are in full force at the Senior. We were at the Senior Bowl. You and Safed were at the Senior Bowl as the Miami Dolphins scouted and interviewed the 120 draft prospects participating in the game. And even stuff like Derek Brown were simply attended the event to meet some executives. Brian Flores addressed his coaching staff changes. Chris Greer talked about the next chapter of the franchise's building. And Omar got an up-close look at 6 draftable quarterbacks, including Oregon's Justin Herbert, Utah State's Jordan Love, and Oklahoma's Jalen Hurts. What do you take away from the week, Omar?
I went there particularly to look at these quarterbacks and get an up close. I do not believe you can properly evaluate a quarterback unless you see him throw live. Now,
Kansas City did with Patrick Mahomes. Andy
listen,
Reid saw him on tape and said, I like that guy.
okay.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I didn't mean to dissect.
Here's the situation. I go to the Senior Bowl to look at the quarterbacks up close and personal. I've fallen in love with a couple throughout the course of my 12th season covering the Dolphins and going to the Senior Bowl. Justin Herbert has just as strong an arm as the Joe Flacco's, the Colin Kaepernicks, who are the Carson Wentz. The arm is legit. He's the biggest quarterback. He's got an Osweiler look to him.
He's a prototype quarterback.
Yeah, that's how you want him drawn up. If you were drawing him up, that's how you want him to look. Now, the question is, does he have the moxie, the poise, the presence, the it? I didn't see that. Does he have the accuracy to show you? Because he throws that ball and his wrist, it just flicks. He doesn't need to step into the throw. He flicks it, it's gone 40 yards and on a rope. The arm is legit. He is definitely going to be a top 10 pick. If the Dolphins want to invest in him, fine. We'll be doing Ryan Tannehill all over again. It is what it is. Maybe it'll turn out to be Ryan Tannehill, just 4 years instead of 8. Now, Jordan Love. There's so much chatter about him because of his raw tools and intangible ability. It does remind you of Patrick Mahomes. I always feel uncomfortable with that comparison. I feel a little bit more comfortable with Colin Kaepernick. The arm is there. The athleticism is there. The size is there. He's got a cocky little personality to him. That turns me on. I'm not even going to lie. Problem I have is he was bad day 1. He was okay day 2. And then he lit it up day 3, which was red zone day. And I saw, I want to invest in it. I like it. I give him time because they make a ton of excuses. And I said day 1, didn't like what I saw. Then everybody started hitting me up with, He didn't have his offensive line. He didn't have a running back. He didn't have any wide receivers. He had a new coach. It just, go back and
New system at
new
Utah
system.
State,
Go
right.
back and look at his 2008 film, and you'll get a more clear picture of what we're looking at. I have not gone over the 2008 film, but I will tell you, the arm, he's got the Dan Marino quick release. It's gone. It's snap a finger, the ball's gone. There is no big, long wind-up like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts makes me uncomfortable from this standpoint. He winds up the ball, and his balls fade when he throws a 15-yard out. To me, a 15-yard out is the one pass that I need to see a quarterback throw. I need to see you throw it on a rope where it doesn't hover down. It's just got to go pop. He can't throw that. Now, he's got a pocket presence to him. He's got athleticism to it. I think he's an NFL quarterback. I'm not necessarily certain he's an NFL starter. More like a Tyrod Taylor type. In time, you can invest in that. So he's a down-the-road, second day, maybe fourth-round guy. Nah, I won't disrespect him. Third-round guy. But Jordan Love, without a doubt, will be top 20 pick. Maybe in the top 15.
Meaning he'll be top 10 by draft day.
Yeah, by
That's-
draft.
That's the way it works.
He got it. Now, the question is, what quarterback are you going to get? Are you going to get the 2018 quarterback, or are you going to get the 2019 quarterback? And that's why it's important to sit and develop him.
Well, either one, Herbert or Love, would benefit from being sat, from what I've told. And I haven't
Yes.
I haven't seen these. I've just talked to pro scouts who said, you get these guys, you work with them for a year in a smart system, and then you see what they are.
Absolutely.
So-
And I would not mind. The problem is Tua is my number one. Tua has my heart. There's no secret about that. Medical, I'm getting over it. Is he going to be hurt again? He probably will.
You know what you're going to hear from here to draft day?
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be fine. The hip's
Yep.
fine. The hip's fine. He's
Yep.
throwing. Look at him. He's good.
Walking.
And everybody will be.
Yeah.
And the story, narrative, inside teams will not have changed one bit.
Yeah.
Which is 3 years from now, can we trust he's going to be there?
The word on the street at the Senior Bowl is that the Lions will be leveraging that pick. Tua will be picked.
You wrote a column
Yes.
on sunsentinel.com about, and it makes all sorts of sense, that they're right outside the top two legitimate
Yep.
franchise players and sitting there. And so what do you do with that pick?
What do you do? You have to trade it. You have to trade.
Wait. If you're Detroit, you might take it. If you, it depends on if you love Tua.
Here's what's bubbling in Lions country. There is an alleged issue between Stafford and Patricia, and whether Stafford wants to undergo another coaching change. There's word that the GM and the Lions, they have been given a 1-year notice.
Imagine a Bill Belichick disciple going to another staff and having problems with the quarterback. Is that, say, Denver with Josh McDaniels and Jay Cutler? You can go right down the line of guys that Belichick right there when he walked in the door. So,
Yeah.
I mean.
And there's also concerns about his back. He's had like
Right.
three
Well,
back issues.
he missed the season.
Yeah. So, but he's got a huge, hefty financial commitment to him. And I believe if he's traded, it's $31 million on their cap. Not to say that cap means anything, because it's a very fluid situation. I always say the cap is an imaginary number. Just ignore it. But I don't think they're in position to take Tua, because that's a reset. I'm not necessarily certain that their organization can survive. However, they can leverage to it. And to me, I've crunched the numbers. You give them your pick number 26. If you're Miami, you give them pick number 26, and in exchange, they give you their 4th-round pick, and they're still walking ahead 100 points up on the trade value chart.
Yeah, the question starts with, if you're the Dolphins, who do you love?
You know.
You know everything but his medical chart. About him, right? So
And also, how much in love can you fall with a Justin Herbert, with a Jordan Love, Justin Herbert and Jordan Love, and to me, I'm putting Jordan Love over Justin Herbert.
All right, Omar, these are Senior Bowl questions. Our next question comes from Fabian. Who are the top 3 players that opened your eyes at the Senior Bowl? Extra points if one of them is in the trenches, or 2. 2! Give me 2 in the trenches with this team.
Let me tell you how it was set up. The Senior Bowl, there's a lobby on the upstairs level, and then there's a restaurant that you go into And basically the restaurant is where agents are working and prospects. You go to get a quick meal. Well, there also happened to be a meeting room in the restaurant. And you know where the Dolphins were set up to do all their interviews and usher people in and out? Right in that meeting room. And I'm talking the whole staff. And it was a beautiful thing to see. Prospect come in and out, in and out, in and out. And a lot of them were offensive linemen, Dave.
Shocking.
I
think there'd be a few defensive linemen.
There were a lot of 300-pounders there. But also, on top of that, I liked some of the prospects in the Senior Bowl. Jordan Love, I warmed up to him. The ability, the arm, it reminds me of, his arm reminds me of Phillip Rivers. He just absolutely reminds me of Phillip Rivers. Just a quick release. Cocky little personality, just like Phillip Rivers. And if you say to me, I'm selecting Jordan Love and I get Phillip Rivers, I'll sign up for that.
Oh, just a second.
Absolutely, no question about it. Now, he doesn't need to start right away, just like Phillip Rivers sat. So, patience. And then there was a slot receiver, SMU receiver, James Prochet. Now, receiver, Dave, that is a loaded position in this draft.
Don't need many receivers.
No.
They need some good ones.
It's odd that in the year, this is probably going to be the best receiver draft since this is the Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham draft. And it is loaded. But James Prochet was a slot receiver who really couldn't be defended at the Senior Bowl. From SMU, I definitely feel like a slot is needed in this offense. And I would definitely, without a doubt, no hesitation, use a third-round pick on Mr. James Prochet. And then Dayton tight end Adam Troutman. There was the FAU tight end. He was pretty good there at the Senior Bowl. He's definitely an alpha prospect. But Troutman, that guy, big, can move, inline guy. You put him with this young tight end. Who's this guy that the Dolphins have?
The young tight end?
Yeah, the slot receiver who's pretending to be a tight end.
Oh, Gesicki.
Yeah.
Mike How soon we forget?
Yeah, you put him with Mike Gesicki, and you have a dual-purpose tight end situation that can work for you. Adam Troutman is definitely on my list. Also, offensive lineman, because everybody knows I love the big uglies. LSU's offensive lineman, Damian Lewis, squatty little guy. His body does not look pretty, but he moves people, Dave. And you know how much I love when people move people.
All right, Shane TP asks, what questions should Greer and Flores be asking themselves that you're concerned they're not?
I think that they did a poor job building the offense and defensive line. They said last year's draft, we're going to use this draft to build the trenches. How well did they do, Dave?
Well, they tried. What you're really saying is they swung a miss. And to me, year two, especially with guys in the trenches, will tell you where they are.
I still say that the trenches are a priority. I saw some offensive linemen there. I mean, of my 14 draft picks, 4 of them will be offensive linemen. They just will be.
Of the 14, 8 will be linemen. Period.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
We're walking in sync here, Omar.
Throw me a quarterback, a slot receiver, and a tight end, and then the whole draft is offensive, defensive linemen, and I'm on board, Dave.
Enough of those big, shiny objects. We need one big, shiny object, and then make sure you got guys in the trenches. Definitely. All right, Steeler Core 1974 wants to know, will we be targeting running back in the second or third round?
Listen, Dave. I'm uncomfortable with it being targeted in the second or third round because then that's how you end up with the Daniel.
I'm very comfortable in the second and third round.
That's how you end up with the Daniel Thomases
of
the world. That's how you end up with the Kenyon Drakes of the world.
You can go down.
I want a sure thing, Dave.
You can go down the list of misses by Dolphins at every position.
Yes.
If you want over the last 20 years, Omar. I'm scared. Look at these Super Bowl. Look at the Final Four running backs.
Don't do this.
Look at the Final Four running backs.
They're all first rounders.
They're all first rounders?
Not all of them.
There's not one first rounder.
Okay, Final Four running backs. You're talking
Final Four. We got Derrick Henry, second rounder.
He was a second rounder?
Second rounder. We got the San Francisco Master. He was cut by the Dolphins and a bunch of other teams, and now he's a superstar in San Francisco. You got Green Bay. Green Bay hasn't taken a running back above the third round in the last 10 years.
Dave.
And then you got, who's the fourth team I'm missing? Kansas City. Who do they got? Damont Williams. They signed him for $1.5 million from the Dolphins. So
after the Dolphins threw him away.
After the Dolphins threw him away. So there's legitimate proof that running backs, I hate to say it, are disposable. and if you're smart, you can find them.
I want to build with a running back either in free agency, the trade route, or the first round of this draft. I'm sorry, I want to be the team that selects the first running back, whether it be 26th pick, DeAndre Swift, Wisconsin's Jonathan Taylor, Ohio State's J.K. Dobbins. I want the Dolphins to end up with one of these guys because you have to build a running game.
I agree. We agree with that. What we disagree is how to build it.
Yes. I don't want to take chances, Dave. We've rolled the dice and we've taken these chances.
You're going to take chances on a running back no matter where you take it.
Listen, give me the proven
one
commodity.
One of them should be down with your second pick with the fifth, and I'm fine with it there. Not one of your.
Oh,
first
you mean
three.
one or three? So you're settling?
I'm absolutely I'm settling on because San Francisco settled on a guy who's been cut by 5 teams, and Kansas City settled on a guy cut by the Dolphins. Re-signed by the Dolphins.
Yeah. It's an uncomfortable situation, but we both agree the running game needs to be a priority.
Absolutely. Okay, our next question comes from Steven. What are you hearing about Jordan Love, the person, off the field?
Cocky. And turns me on. I like cocky. I'm cool with cocky. If you have a quarterback that's got a little swagger and a little confidence about himself and it's not fabricated, sign me up.
I like. So you like Josh Rosen was cocky? He came in with that cocky label, Omar. Yeah, he did. Arrogant. He came in with that.
No, he can't. Okay, all right.
What you're saying is you like cocky if you have the game to go with it, right?
I don't necessarily. Josh Rosen had this entitlement thing, and there's a difference. There's a difference between cocky and entitled. I never got cocky from Rosen. I got entitled, and I'm trying to distance myself from this entitlement.
I tell you what, when he talked to us,
yes,
he sounded very good. I thought most of the year.
Yeah,
grounded. I don't know if I'd use the word humble, but real.
You know who I met, who I saw and caught up with at the Senior Bowl? This is just gonna blast you away, blast from the past. John Beck. John Beck, Dolphins 2007 second round pick. He told me he was supposed to sit and watch and learn from Trent Green all year. Then he's thrown into the action. They basically pressured to play him. He admits he wasn't ready. And then the regime change, they come in, they get their own quarterbacks. He told me he was supposed to start the first exhibition game. He liked his chances. And then they were going to start the other guys the next couple of exhibition games. Lo and behold, Chad Pennington.
Look, when Chad Pennington fell from the sky,
yes,
that was the end of John
But
Beck
the
here.
situation, he went through an NFL grinder throughout his career, and it helped him. He's a teacher of quarterbacks now. He's working with Herbert. It helped him, it toughened him up. And Josh Rosen is going through a similar situation. He's on his second team. Really, they ain't feeling him, even though they claim they're feeling him. And Chris Greer made the point of saying, Josh Rosen's now in his NFL career, he's going to have 4 offensive coordinators.
Yes, it's not a good situation.
He had 3 in his college career.
Agreed,
so
agreed.
seven different offensive coordinators in 8 years.
But I haven't heard the coach give evidence that he really likes Josh Rosen. Right? Okay. Our next question comes from Steven. Or excuse me, we just did that one. Adam asks, if Tua's medical records come out okay, should Miami trade up to get him or stay at pick number 5?
Definitely trade up. If this is the guy that you're all in, and Chris Greer, in a video that that we produced on the Sun Sentinel, because I videotaped it, he described his ideal quarterback. Intangibles sits at the top of the list. Well, what is Tua Tagovailoa? He's a smorgasbord of intangibles.
But here's my issue, Omar. You can't ask that question if his medical reports come back okay. I mean, what does that mean? Here's a guy who's been hurt 5 times in the past 2 years, lower body.
You're drafting a guy with durability issues,
yes.
And the hip will pop itself out again, and he'll miss another season. But here's the thing. And I have to come.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, no. I say that.
Other than that,
a quarterback with durability issues whose hip is going to pop out again. Other than that, He's dynamic.
He is. I agree.
Everybody in the
Everybody
NFL
agrees.
loves him.
If he was healthy, he would be the #1 pick.
Probably.
Or #2. I mean, he'd be.
Probably. He might still be the number 2 pick.
Might still be. You're right, Omar.
Listen, and where Chris Greer was like, he won the Elite 11 amongst all these quarterbacks when they were in high school. Like, he was the guy that raised his hand and said, "I'm the guy."
I get it.
Everybody
agrees.
His whole career, he said, "I'm the guy."
Okay, but you can't say that if his hip keeps popping out, right? I mean,
it's a little concerned, a little problematic. I'm saying. All right, Dolphins CEO Tom Garfinkel and the owner Steve Ross, who has financially invested about $500 million into his stadium to get it up to snuff to the point where they have a first-class stadium that can host Super Bowls. We're finally back. The big game is finally back in South Florida, and I know you have been a staunch defender against putting money into privately owned venues, Dave Hyde, and I support you on that stance, even though we don't necessarily agree. I do support you because you've seen this laundry list of public money gone for welfare to billionaires.
So much money. The Dolphins do things few teams in the country do. They pay taxes. They pay for renovation of their stadium, and they built their own stadium. I mean, that just doesn't happen. So, look, if they can make some of it back by having a Super Bowl, and that's important to them, even though they're making a lot of money without the Super Bowl, then
props to them, but I will say we always had when they were lobbying for public funds to contribute to the stadium renovations. The argument was, oh, the Super Bowl is going to bring in $1 billion worth of money, and people gave that face. People gave that face. Do you see all these activities, Dave Hyde? Do you see? It was Monday, and the streets were crowded, Dave. The restaurants were filled.
The highways are crowded.
The highways are crowded.
There they will be.
Come on. This is $1 billion, if not more, of economic impact.
Look, you have on the one. This is a whole different issue. On the one side, you have the economists working for the city and the league, talking about the impact. On the other hand, you have, economists not working for anybody who say that's all exaggerated. So, look, money's coming in. Is it as much as
hotel rooms are filled?
Well, hotel rooms are going to be filled down here anyways. Now, maybe not at the rates they are right now.
Yeah, definitely. Big markup. So, Super Bowl, good or bad for South Florida, Dave?
Oh, Super Bowl's great for South Florida. You know what? It's good for the league, too. Enough of this Super Bowl in Indianapolis, in New York, where it's cold. America wants a playground. Okay, the Super Bowl should be held in a place where you can serve a snapper fillet on your restaurant meal, right? It should be on that menu, and a fresh one, not something flown in. So it belongs here.
Definitely. Hopefully we can get it. Oh, I don't really like it here because it involves a lot of work, but hopefully we can get it back on every 6-year rotation.
Miami had to give up home games, though, Omar. Are you okay with that?
I'm fine with that. I like, people act like, oh, hosting a home game is such a valuable thing. Stadium's half empty all the time. Like, listen.
Well, it wouldn't be if they're good.
True. I mean, let's get there first.
Here's the thing. I don't see New England giving up home games. This international thing shouldn't be tied into the Super Bowl. They should be on a rotational basis to make some measure of fairness, just like teams rotate through the other conferences and the
Somebody's got to go play in Mexico and London, Dave.
So what? There's
somebody
32
has
teams.
to do it.
Put it on a rotation. Put it on a rotation.
That's what the NFL has said. If you want a Super Bowl, you got to give it up. So now you see Miami giving it up. Now you see New Orleans giving it up. Now you see Tampa giving it up. You'll probably see some LA teams giving it up. It is the way the game is played, Dave. Corporations shake you down.
All right, Herbert wants to know, Omar, what can the Dolphins learn from Kansas City and San Francisco, the two teams competing in the Super Bowl? What pieces do we already have to emulate those teams?
Well, if you look at both teams, they're pretty good in the trenches. Both teams have good pass rush. Both teams have respectable offensive lines. And more importantly to me, because I still believe in old school football, Dave, run the ball. Now, Kansas City does it in unorthodox manners, and a lot of times they throw passes to the backs. But the 49ers, that's a ridiculous running game. And they are a full team. And they lean on that run game. That run game keeps the defense off the field. That run game keeps pressure off the quarterback. And as I continue to say, Dave, you can win with running the football. Now, this is juxtaposition of who's going to win, the high-flying, spread it all around, amazing quarterback, or the physical defense run team.
Well, here's the thing. You can win running the football if you get the lead early.
Okay.
If the game shifts on you, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
right?
that's
So
right.
so you got to be able to do it all if you were to say build around the run. You still need a solid passing game because there's going to be some Sundays in the playoffs where everything doesn't break your way. So, look, Patrick, the question is, can San Francisco's defensive line contain Patrick Mahomes? Can they make the day so difficult for him that he doesn't do the magic?
I think it's about containing his weaponry because to me, the weapons are what makes Patrick Mahomes special. He puts it out in positions where these are everywhere on the field. He's got a dynamic playmaker.
Yeah, but he's buying time. He's creating stuff.
He's
doing,
waiting for them to get open, but those guys still run the 4-2s.
He does things that allow people to
Make
their
their magic
4-2s magic. So
Yeah.
it'll be. I'm kind of curious about this game. Okay, Lawrence Alexander asks, seeing how San Francisco is back to the Super Bowl on trench play, how could the Dolphins copy that model with draft picks and free agency over the next 2 years?
We talked about this early in the show.
About this, yeah.
I am investing at least 4 picks into the offensive line, and I'm going to go get a veteran
And you're going to
offensive
get
line.
4 on the defensive line, too. Maybe a couple
yeah.
pass rushers?
Yeah, no, because this is not a good draft for pass rushers.
Well, you better find some.
I mean, I don't know
You
where to
better
go get
find
one.
some, Omar.
It's not a good draft for pass rushers. If you're getting Chase Young, you're probably going to be picking from just the Andrew Van Ginkels of the world, which is okay. But to me, the physicality of the game shows you that, Damont Williams was here, and he was a pass-catching back here. Okay, you give him to a quarterback who can utilize. Same thing with Kenyon Drake.
And a coach who knows how to utilize him.
A coach who knows how to use it. You can make something happen. I don't want a pass-catching back, though. I want a powerful back like a Jay Ajayi who can give you the 4 yards in a cloud of dust. I know that's old school football.
I want both. You need both. I mean,
do?
let's not get tied up and just say, look at New England for years. James White and LeGarrette Blount. James White and some other power rusher. I mean, you need both, I think.
You make a very valid point. To me, it starts with start the building with a sustainable run game. Takes the pressure off the quarterback, takes pressure off the defense. That to me is foundational piece. That to me is like, how you have those weight-bearing walls in these renovated places that everybody's, that's the weight-bearing wall in your new
I
structure.
alluded to this. In today's game, you get points throwing the ball. Now, you get points early throwing the ball, you can lean on the run game and win through your running game. But
That's fair.
You can't just say, let's only build the run game.
Oh, no. You got to have a special quarterback. The problem is when you don't have the special quarterback and you think you need to use Ryan Tannehill to throw 40 times a game. Like, to me, build the running game and then work around that.
All right, Dolphins Spence 99 asked, does former Dolphins tailback Damont Williams have the ability to get tough yardage to help Chiefs control time of possession in the Super Bowl, or is he more of a finesse back?
He's a finesse back,
yeah.
And that's been his MO his whole career. Now, can he grind it out? Yes, he can grind it out, but he's a pass-catching back. He's a weapon out the backfield. You get him in space. The one thing I always respected about Damont Williams throughout his career with the Dolphins is, and now you can definitely see it in Kansas City, the first guy is not taking him down. He's always going to make the first guy miss. Now, it might be a miss and you get an extra yard, but he's always going to make the first guy miss, and that is a trait that I'm always going to be looking for in a back. I've never seen that with the exception of Damont Williams.
It was one of the mystifying releases because
it wasn't a release. It was a we don't want your services.
Yes,
they didn't. And here's the thing.
That's what I mean. They let him go.
He wanted to come back.
Yeah.
This is the war daddy
for $1.5 million, which in today's
is
NFL
nothing.
for a back in his 5th year. Now he's had in the last 2 years in the regular season he's had 13 touchdowns for Kansas City. They got him in a system that really took advantage of the things he could do.
But he showed you he could do all that stuff down here.
And especially,
but he's war daddy.
Very
he
good on
was
special teams.
Like they gave out the war daddy every week. Damont Williams was king of the war daddy, which was an honor that they gave to the guy who exemplified what they wanted the team to be about.
All right, our final question comes from Richard Leonard. After watching the playoffs, do you feel there should be a greater emphasis on finding a tailback than there was previously?
Absolutely. When you consider that this offense was at its best when Jay Ajayi was here and grounding and pounding people out in 2016. 2018, the last time they made it to the playoffs. Before that, they were doing the Wildcat. Jay Ajayi, you know, the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown, ran into him at the Senior Bowl, and Ricky Williams. Kenyon Drake and Kalen Ballage, you know, Kenyon Drake's doing his thing in Arizona in an offense that fits him, but that wasn't the offense that they want to build around here. So, to me, and yeah, Kalen Ballage is 1.9 yards per carry average. He's not the pounder that, you know, they thought he was.
1.9 ain't going to do it for you.
1.9 ain't going to do it for me.
But here's what we're going to get back to, especially with a whole new offensive system coming in. They need guys to fit their system. When you say Kenyon Drake didn't fit this system, well, he fit it in Arizona, and so you need to get the right talent for the things you want to do on offense. I'm curious to see what that means with Chan Gailey again.
Absolutely. You've covered Chan Gailey, so you got a little bit of a background on him, but that was literally...
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was
a different world.
2 decades.
Dave Wannstedt's first year, and a very successful year, first 2 years.
First 2 years, 11-5.
He came from Dallas. He was fired from Dallas as the head coach, came here, and they had a power running game, limited Jay Fiedler passing game, and that came from Wannstedt more than Gailey, I think, and so we'll, you know, especially as you saw Gailey, other offenses he threw out there. So I'm curious to see what he wants to run here.
I'm told from the Senior Bowl it will be an athletic quarterback.
Oh.
He wants. He builds around.
Better be in today's world, right?
Yeah, he builds around athletic quarterbacks to me. And Justin Herbert has some athleticism, but I don't really view him as an athletic quarterback. To me, that's why it's probably
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. Probably. I think.
Or Tua.
If you could do,
I'm just getting Omar a little worked up here.
I mean, let's listen. I want Tua.
I know you want Tua.
You got you. This market needs and deserves Tua. You're gonna have to trade up for him. Are you willing to do that? Willing to give up one of these first-round picks, Dave?
I'm holding. I'm waiting.
You're trying to slow drag it.
I'm slowing because I'm trying to talk myself out of. He's going to get hurt.
Panic.
He is going to get hurt, and you know it, and I know it, and everybody who's covered him knows it.
Yep.
But he's really good.
He's really good.
I'm waiting. Right now I can't make the trade for him. I can't draft him.
Not right this minute.
Not this second.
But
we're going to have more X's and Omars coming up here.
I think Chris Greer wants to take it to draft day too. But I don't know if he's going to be able to take it to draft day. If you're the Lions, you leverage it now. You leverage it now. And then if you're Washington.
But everybody hasn't done all their work on Tua.
Correct.
I mean, you got combines coming up. You got the medical. The teams want to see that medical report.
Yeah, they do. They want to see that medical report. Well, final X's and Omar segment. The prediction for the Super Bowl, Dave. I'll go first. You know, I'm a believer in the run game. You know, I'm a believer in defense. You know, I'm a believer in power football. I'm picking the 49ers. They are the best team that I've seen in quite a while. Not a team carried by a quarterback. I'm saying team. Defense, offense, special teams.
I'd love to go against you, Omar, but I'm with you. And now,
What?
part of it is
you picking old school football.
Part of it is Green Bay didn't put up much of a fight in the NFC Championship game, so I'm curious to see. But you know, if you're betting Kansas City, you're betting magic from Patrick Mahomes, and there's a lot more team with San Francisco, so I'm going with the 49ers too.
Definitely. Well, X's and Omar's always fun when we're here with Dave Hyde and always doing it. Enjoy yourself in the Super Bowl. Be safe. Be smart.
And keep a bail bondsman around in case Antonio Brown.
See you next time.